Welcome to the Hot Read. That is James Foster. I am Braden Gall. We're brought to you by ML Rose. We got a wing competition we need to tell you about, but we'll tell you about that coming up in just a second. James, how are you, sir? Good to see you, man.
Doing great. Man, we're so close to the season. I'm pumped.
You got one big college. If you're listening to this right away, you got one big college football game. Keep an eye on Kansas State and Iowa State over the weekend. Two really good teams, actually. And then you got college football all next week, and then the NFL kicks up after that. So it's close. We're going to talk Cam Ward, of course. We're going to look at every throw from the Atlanta game, most every throw from the Atlanta game. We're going to look at that. We're going to take a look at Femi Oladejo. We're going to take a look at Cedric Gray, and we're going to take a look at Marcus Harris. There's some good in there, and there's some bad in there, and there's some mixed bag in there. So a lot of stuff to do. ML Rose, by the way, 7 great locations all across the city. The newest one in Inglewood, my neighborhood, and they're going to have a brand new chicken wing competition. I don't know about you, but anytime I'm watching any event, I don't know if it's golf or the Super Bowl, college football national championship. I don't know what your like food of choice is at like a watch party. Do you have one?
It's going to be dry rub wings. If I can split it and get half and half, I'll get dry rub and like some sort of Korean spicy something.
Oh, okay.
And then
but your like wings over like pizza or
oh
like
no, it's always
or,
wings, and then like I'll get like pretzel sticks as an appetizer or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. I am wings all the way. I've been ordering wings for
bone
college. There is no such thing as a boneless wing. That is not a thing that exists. I'm glad, by the way. I'm glad we agree on this before we talked about it.
You don't have to argue with me.
I think less of people who order boneless chicken wings. It's like a tender or a nugget. That's not a part of the bird. There is no part of the chicken that doesn't have a bone in it. So it's also better flavor. Anyway, ML Rose having an SEC football wing competition this fall. Every location, when you go in, they've got brand new like discounted menu items. So you can get like 24 wings for like less than $30. So when you do that, make sure you sign. Make sure you tell them who your team is. There'll be some paperwork at the table or whatever, a little piece of paper. You just fill it out. You say Tennessee, you say Texas A&M, you say Auburn, you say Ole Miss. Whoever your favorite team is in the SEC, we're going to do a wing competition for the whole fall and see which SEC school in Nashville eats the most wings. We'll see if anybody can beat Tennessee or Alabama. I have a feeling those are going to be the top 2, but we'll see. Anyway, you get really good discounts on wings at all 7 locations and a great place to watch games. 2-for-1 beer specials and drink specials on Saturdays and Sundays. So there's no reason not to go watch ball there. So ML Rose, everybody. All right, you want to start with Cam Ward here, James?
Yeah, let's do
that. All right, let's start with Cam Ward here. We're going to get to Femi. We're going to get to a bunch of other folks, but let's start with Cam. What do we see against Atlanta here?
So first play is really nice. I think this is a great example of a play that's out of the pocket, but still within structure. And we'll see this on the end zone angle, but J.C. Latham James Pierce Jr. is going to hit J.C. Latham here with an inside move. Latham does a solid job of recovering, cutting off that angle into the B gap, but Ward still needs to break the pocket a little bit, just have a clean window to see downfield. But like you were saying before we started recording, he does a great job of not just sprinting out to the sideline. It's really just kind of buying himself extra space to see this window. And he's still able to hit Iomanor coming across on the backside dig, as if he was within the pocket. This is a really good play from him.
It's really interesting. You can watch him stop. Like if you watch, there's a step. Right there, he stops, and then he sees the throw and accelerates into his motion. Right. So I thought that was my favorite part of that play was that he throttles down coming out of the pocket. It's like 1 or 2 steps. So that's what I liked about that play for sure. It's one of the best plays of the preseason so far.
Yeah. So really good play to start out the drive. Then this throw to Van Jefferson, it's really interesting. PFF charted this as an inaccurate throw. I think it's like right on the edge. I would still probably say this is a big time throw that's maybe like an inch ahead of where it needs to be. Although I also think Van Jefferson,
pause it for a second.
He's got his hands out when he should still be at full speed. He's got his hands out slowing down to try to catch it. So
what was interesting to me on this was how hard Cam, like the trajectory of the throw. He put a lot of steam on it and he kept it pretty low. And almost because the safety seems like he's so inside on this throw, maybe he could have put a little bit more air under it and had led him further. Is that maybe what PFF is seeing there?
Yeah, I mean, PFF isn't really like they're not
Otherwise,
doing that sort of
why is it
analysis. It's purely results based. But
how is it inaccurate then? Is my question, because it hits him right in the hands.
yeah, well, I mean, when he extends for it, it is a fingertip catch, right?
Yeah.
But my argument is that Van Jefferson should actually be,
In
5
stride.
inches to the right here. So then this
Yeah.
isn't a fingertip catch.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. I still think like my takeaway from this is like, yeah, he's got a cannon and he can really make some throws like that.
I mean, there's 3 dudes chasing the football right there
Yeah.
for the Falcons. Like I thought that was an incredibly impressive throw in real time with this angle. And I was like, I felt like he put a little too much heat on it and not enough angle. And that maybe is what made it a little outside, I guess. But I agree with you. Jefferson also slowed up once he got behind the defense.
Yeah. A little bit too much zip and not enough air, but still like 9 out of 10 for me.
And honestly, the thing you do there, if you're a receiver, you don't like a receiver, you don't want to teach him to leave his feet. But if you were to jump and turn your body so that your face sees the football because there's a period of time where you lose sight of the ball there.
Yeah.
When you're looking over your shoulder like that, you lose sight of the ball between when it passes your face mask and when it hits your hands. And that is where you lose sight of it. And there's a trick where you see the receiver turn and catch it through the point like you normally would. You're going to land on your back, so you're giving up any yak. But a lot of times it is the way you make that catch.
I agree. All right, third play. I think this is the screen. Yeah, so this is a tough one because he's got, I think, Arnold Ebiketie crashing upfield trying to get into this passing lane. So he tries to sidearm, underthrow it kind of to fit it in between there. Maybe he's expecting DK to get some more depth, but yeah, can't remember if this was a fumble or an incomplete pass.
I think it was ruled an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it's incomplete. It's almost honestly, Music City Miracle.
If you look at the setup on this, it looks pretty well set up with the offensive line. And is that Ayumanner and Latham that are up there? Like they obviously
Latham, Van Jefferson.
Yeah, they both completely whiff on their blocks. But
it looks like they whiff because look, the angle that they're blocking these defenders. Look at the angle that these defenders are crashing downhill that they're anticipating. And then once they see that throw is going to the sideline, then the defenders angle like way out. So they whiff. But if this throw is accurate and DK was still where he caught it, then he would just have all the space over the middle. So I don't think they did anything bad here.
No. I just mean they set it up well. I'm curious if Cam could have gone over the top of the rushing defender. Maybe not enough time to make that throw. I don't know. But it looked pretty set up at the beginning of the play.
This one is an incompletion for Cam, but I actually think I would actually put this on DK, in my opinion. So it's third down. Let's see if we can see the.
It's like third and 12. It's pretty long, I think.
Yeah, third and long. DK is going to kind of wrap around this hook defender on the sit route, and based on where Cam places this pass, I think that he's expecting DK. I don't think he's expecting DK to cut off his route like right on the hip of the linebacker. I think he's expecting him to get a little bit further to the right into this window, so you can see the.
And he threw it down. He threw it down and away from both defenders. So I thought, it felt like a bit of a prayer play to begin with. Like once I saw it, I think he was locked in on him, and he thought, "Look, I'm going to have this, but I'm going to have to fit it in there." DK doesn't run the perfect route, and he does still place it, where it's not going to be intercepted. But you're inside your own 10. You don't want to make a mistake there,
right? This one, just an inaccurate out route to Ayumanner. I don't think the route is great either, but
he does round his.
Isn't really catchable.
His out routes, he kind of rounds a little bit, but
yeah.
So you put that one on Cam, okay?
Yeah, I mean it's the ball's not really catchable.
Is that footwork in your opinion? Like if he's got his feet planted, I mean he actually doesn't look terribly out of sync with his feet there.
Yeah, if I would have included the end zone angle, I mean, he's a very like rotational thrower,
Yeah, and it generally when he floats him like that, generally it's his feet that's the problem.
Yeah. And then final play here, I mean, there's not really too much to evaluate from this. It's just a slightly overthrown slot fade, but that tends to be the kind of throws that you have to make when your receiver doesn't have any separation. Is you kind of put a little bit of extra air on it to give him space to run under it. So I wouldn't look at this and say, oh, this is a like terribly inaccurate deep pass.
No, because what you want there when he's not got any separation is you want him to use his body to keep the defender from the ball, and then put the ball opposite of the defender, and he's pretty close. Like
it's definitely a miss, but it's not a terrible miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So yeah, that's all I had for Cam.
All right. So what is your overall takeaway then? Now that you've seen, we kind of looked at all the throws from last week. I would say mostly positive from last week. Obviously, the terrible decision that almost was intercepted against Tampa, and then they had the one where he probably could have thrown it away a little bit better. This one, there was a few more maybe inaccurate throws, a couple of them maybe because of footwork, a couple of them because just it's a tough throw. Also made the biggest play of his 2 games so far. Do you see? I was talking on a football show with Nick Suss of the Tennessean about this, and we both kind of agreed. I think he's growing. I think there's growth, but I don't know if I'm seeing progress. Does that make sense? Can you have growth without progress? Does that make sense? You think?
Can you go into more detail on that? I'm not sure.
Well, like I think he is taking things and learning and applying them the way the coaching staff wants him to. But I don't think it's translating yet. I think he's
improving like internally, just like his overall rating is going up, but it's not translating to
like his awareness. Like if you're talking Madden numbers, right? Like his awareness is going up, his sort of IQ is going up, his intangibles are going up, his experience is going up. It's not necessarily turning into yards or touchdowns or completions yet, and I don't think that's a huge deal. As long as you're seeing some growth, I don't think it has to translate to progress yet. It's going to have to soon. So I don't know what's your takeaway from game 1 to game 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that. I think I would agree with you. I don't know that the fact that it hasn't translated on the field yet is overly concerning, because he's had 4 drives in the preseason. So I mean, it's any takeaway that I have is ready to be completely turned on its head after the first real game.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, we'll talk. We'll touch on Marcus Harris here coming up. We're going to touch on Cedric Gray, Femi Oladejo, a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, a little bit of mixed bag as well. So we'll do some of that coming up just a second. We are going to have sort of some new voices come on the show. Want to update all you guys on this. We'll have the new version of the show coming out in a little while. It's not going to be in the near future, but we'll announce that at some point very soon. We're going to have some other voices show up starting next week, I think, on the product. We'll also, when the season starts, we'll settle in on a schedule as well. So for now, we're kind of doing shows on Fridays, but we'll go back to being live, and we'll go back to being sort of a set schedule, probably a little earlier in the week. But for now, we're in preseason mode too, James, is what we're doing here on the show. So there'll be some voices you guys know and recognize. Excited about having them on. And of course, ML Row, 7 great locations all across Middle Tennessee, including Inglewood, my neighborhood. Thank goodness. Wing competition for all you SEC fans on Saturdays, 2-for-1s on Sundays, and all kinds of good stuff on at ML Row. So go check out your local watering hole with the best ranch in the city, according to my wife. And who am I to argue? All right, you want to throw up the next? You want to throw up
which
the next
one do you want to do?
Well, you gotta throw them up there for me.
Let me.
But let's go to Femi here, because I think Femi's interesting, because Oladejo had some really interesting, I thought, growth and progress early in training camp. I thought he showed a lot of acclimating to the scheme and to the plays and to the NFL quickly. It has not translated as much lately, whether that's in the practices with Atlanta or Tampa, whether that's in the game. So we'll take a look at him against Atlanta here. And let's start here, and you tell me what you see here, James.
Yeah, so not all of these plays require in-depth breakdowns. This first one, I think that I'll be interested to see what he looks like, going from the hash to the sideline to cover these kind of slide routes. I feel like he recognizes this at a decent with decent timing, but it gets, kind of loses the angle there, gives up a first down. Then we got some pass rushing reps. So he's going up. I mean, level of competition is kind of the reason that preseason is hard to evaluate, or that it's not as valuable of a data point. So you always got to be mindful of who they're going up against. For most of the Falcons game, he's going up against 69, who is Jack Nelson, a rookie UDFA from Wisconsin, who is like very average. So, I mean, this would be one of the worst starting tackles in the NFL.
Tremendous.
Here, Nelson, he's going to punch with his outside hand right at the same time that it looks like Femi's going in for a swipe.
Yeah.
He isn't able to swat down that hand, lands the punch, replaces it, gets the corner. You see a lot of that, just mistimed hands and like not overwhelming burst around the edge. I don't really like these kind of bull rushes where your hips are pointed like up. His hips are pointed. Well, you can't see my mouse. His hips are pointed like towards the back end zone, almost like slanted.
Yeah.
You know, your hips need to be as parallel with your opponent's hips because that's going to convert as much of the speed to power as possible. So it's kind of like it's one of these like the pocket ends up collapsing around him and he trips. But there are a few of these reps where it's like he wanted to do a speed rush, but he used his bull rush or vice versa.
And I noticed this in practice early on. His most comfortable move is the long stiff arm with one arm, and that's a nice like starting point. If you have something you're comfortable with and you like it, go with it, make it better, refine it. That's fine. But you're going to have to add a second move, a counter move, and maybe even a third one if you're going to be a good starting edge rusher. So first, the number one move needs to be better. But
well, so the interesting thing about that you say that is like in college. So he has this build that to me is perfect for a power rusher, where he's got long arms. He's kind of short, stocky, densely built. Like that's
very thick.
That's what I want for a power rusher. In college, he was like one of these cross chop spammers. Like he thought he was Leatu Latu basically.
A cross chop spammer. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, it's like I mean, you know what the cross chop is? You're chopping across your body out to the outside hand. He would just kind of like use that all the time and didn't use powers often. So if he is using power more, that's a good development. But you know, you want to see him be able to mix it in. This play is kind of another similar one to the first play, or actually next play here, where you get the reverse on this jet motion.
He does read it quickly. He just can't get there.
Right. You know, he needs. Yeah, I mean, I would want him to read this maybe a second quicker and kind of widen out his initial angle.
Yeah. What's interesting is, and again, to your point about Cam Ward, like we're talking about, you know, 2-4 drives, 2 games, preseason, whatever. But he is. It's almost like he's not big enough and powerful enough to be a true power rusher, but he's also not athletic enough to be sort of a hybrid outside backer. And so he's not a tweener, but you know, there's a difference between a combo player and a tweener, right? Like a combo guard in the NBA is different than a tweener, right?
I think the word you're looking for is average.
Well, that's good. I don't think we know that yet, though. You know,
yeah,
right? Like
I know what you're. I'm not saying he is average. I'm saying he's kind of playing like just an average player, honestly.
Well, I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is like, so if you've got a combo guard in the NBA, it means you're good enough at both things, right? A combo player means you're good enough to play point guard and you're good enough to play shooting guard. But a tweener means you're not good enough at either thing.
Yeah.
So there's like a difference there. And I think right now I'm seeing more of but he's between his like junior season as a middle linebacker and an edge rusher. He hasn't quite settled in yet. It doesn't feel like, or maybe hopefully he's a combo player, but we just don't know if he's got that kind of ability.
This last play against Tampa Bay is this is the cross chop that I was saying. So, you know, he's chopping across his body, outside hand, but he doesn't cleanly chop this hand here. The tackle's able to play a little bit light with the outside hand and replace his punch. And then he doesn't use the chop to kind of propel himself around the corner. It's all happening kind of in one place.
And this is against Tampa, obviously.
Yeah. So that's what I had for Femi.
So it sounds like your takeaway on Femi through 2 games is not glowing.
Yeah, well, I liked him as a prospect, but I said it even when he got drafted, like this is not a pick that's going to produce immediate returns as a pass rusher. we might need to start a counter for how many times I complain about the Titans pass rush on this podcast this year, but like it can't overstate how pessimistic I am.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, of my lifetime, I think it'll probably be the worst like that I've seen.
What are you, like 11? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean,
how long you been watching the Titans?
I've been alive for the entirety of the Titans' existence, right?
That's fair.
So,
that's fair. You were back there breaking down Javon Curse film when you were 3 years old.
I'm an old head when it comes to Titans.
You're in the crib watching Javon Curse, like scrolling back and forth, coming off the edge. All right, so that things are not. I think it's a mixed bag for Cam, but I think that's sort of par for the course. I think that's expectation. Yeah. I do think the conversation around Oladejo is interesting because I don't think people expected him to be a ready-made product. He was a project. Like that was sort of, we knew that if you liked him as a prospect, and I think a lot of people did, you had to know that this was a piece that needed to be developed. Like that was part of the package here. So I don't think you can get it to his physicality and his personality though. Mm-hmm. I think both those things show up in practice all the time. He is one of the first guys to congratulate his teammates after every play. Like he's a ball of energy, and I think that's going to benefit him early on. But he's going to have to develop. So definitely. All right, Cedric Gray made a bunch of plays in this game, and you're here to rain on his parade. So
yeah, I'm here to be a downer. I mean, I thought his game. I thought it was just a mixed bag. Definitely, I think first play I included was the sack. I mean, this is an absurd
that poor running back.
Play.
That poor running back.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor guy. He just like put his shoulder in, didn't even try to block him. Like he wasn't ready for that, the running back.
Yeah, no, it's bad hand placement into the fit here, but Cedric Gray just bullies him.
Boom.
So that's an awesome play. To start out here.
Okay.
We got another coverage. I mean, the
he doesn't even move. He doesn't even move.
It's going to be the biggest thing. So basically, like he's does a good job at first sliding underneath this dig route from 81 or 87, but he overcommits to it and then leaves the sit wide open. Yeah. So that's a first down conversion right there, unobstructed. And I mean,
and a slip
watching
too.
Cedric Gray, I get a lot of Azeez Al-Shaair vibes, who is like a solid starting caliber player, but just absolutely no awareness of what's happening behind him in zone coverage. So that would be my
Azeez Al-Shaair. If he ends up being Azeez Al-Shaair, that's one of the better middle linebackers the Titans have had in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And I wrote about this for Paul Kaharski. I did an in-depth deep dive of the Titans linebacker room. I think that ultimately, if you have, and I'll just let some of these plays play out. Ultimately, if you have a great defensive tackle duo, which they do, and a really good linebacker one, you can get away with having like a replacement level starter as your LB2. Sure. So just because the Titans have invested so much in defensive tackle, that's allowed them, I think, to get away with under investing in linebacker. So any of my concerns with the Titans linebacker too, don't take it as I think it's going to wreck the season or anything. It's just these are young players.
It might be 11 out of 11 positions on a defense that you can get away with the worst player. Like if the second linebacker is your worst player on defense, that's actually probably a good thing.
Exactly.
And they have like 11 safeties, including Winston, and they've got a lot of options. They got veterans back there with Woods and Diggs, and they got Hooker, and they got a lot of options back there to help back him up too. So
yep. So this one right here, Titans are in cover 3, and he makes contact with this first route, and then his eyes go to the quarterback. I think he's expecting the number 2 receiver right here to continue vertically. So he gets his eyes on the quarterback, loses track of the route. Yeah. Another third down conversion that he gave up.
And you want him to, because he's got help inside, he needs to flatten that out with the receiver.
Yeah, well, so they're in cover 3, so this outside corner at the bottom of the screen is reading number 1. If number 1 goes vertical, that's his guy. So number 1 is going to be, or the outside corner is going to be carrying 84 down the field. Because number 1 goes vertically, that that puts the number 2 receiver as Cedric Gray's responsibility, regardless of what route he runs, unless he breaks inside. So yeah, coverage mishap there. Yeah. This is a good job. Just basically outpacing this climbing guard on wide zone, and kind of makes the tackle there.
Yeah, uses the contact to kind of propel himself there.
This is still the stuff that I worry about, though, is when you get squared up with a guard at the second level and they're getting a clean climb downfield.
Yep.
Does he have a plan to get around this block? I see him getting stuck to these blocks too often. I mean, it's not a terrible rep, but
are you suggesting going backwards and trying to loop around is not the right thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, don't.
He just takes the hit, takes
right.
2 steps back, and then tries to loop around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this does not, by the way, include the interception that was called back. This whole
that's
cut
my
of
mistake.
Things. And I was I was chatting with Denard Wilson, and he said the refs actually came to him after the game and said, or during that play, and said, "Hey, that was a missed call. We shouldn't have called that." So
nice.
This is not a good read here.
No. Yeah, so I mean, the running back's basically reading Cedric Gray, and he's going to make him wrong based on which gap he picks. So don't pick a side until the running back does.
Yep.
And then let's see.
That was the long run up the middle for those listening in podcast form.
And then this one just kind of takes a bad pursuit angle initially. Can't throttle down and change directions. So I thought it was kind of I thought it was a very mixed bag. I would say an average performance.
Was it better than James Williams' performance in game 1? Because we talked a lot about this last week.
Yeah, I thought James Williams had fewer negative plays in game 1. He also made that really nice tackle in special teams. So it's really close. I would probably give Cedric Gray the edge, though, based on the called back interception.
I think they're basically even.
Yeah.
I think Gray has better instincts for the position.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I mean, Cedric Gray's been playing the position for more than a year.
Yeah. If that matters, then yeah. No, I agree. I think Gray's is the leader right now in the clubhouse, but I imagine we're going to see both of them a lot. All right, well, so let's end on a high note here, because you hate all the Titans defensive players. You're lukewarm on Cam Ward. No, I'm just kidding. Marcus Harris. One of the things I noticed about Marcus Harris, chatting with him after practice this week, is he is very calm. He is a very calm personality type, and I think you see it when you watch his play, actually.
Yeah, I think he had 2 really nice reps in this game. That's all I've got for Marcus Harris. That first one was a forced incompletion on a deep out, and then you get a pass breakup here on this vertical route. So we'll start back with number 1. When I watched Marcus Harris's Cal tape, I felt like my biggest criticism was that in off-man coverage, which is what he's in right now, he was a little bit too jittery and overly responsive to route fakes. So when Marcus Harris would cover this route at California, and the receiver gives this rocker step, which is what it's called, which is this plant foot right here, where he's trying to sell an in-breaker or a post, and then cut it out, and then he's going to cut his route outside. When Marcus Harris would get this kind of fake at Cal, it would cause him to turn his hips inside, have a bunch of false steps, lose balance. But here you can see just how quiet he is. He's just reading the receiver's hips.
Yeah, he just sits
Eyes
down.
are glued on the hips, which will never lie to you. And then stays tight to the route, doesn't get a handed on it or anything, but it wasn't catchable. So that's a great coverage rep right there. This one, it looks like, again, cover 3 with this backside safety pinning down on the rotation. So you get Marcus Harris in the deep third here. Initially, allows some vertical separation, but that's where you see the recovery speed. Believe he ran in the 4.3s, and he's able to close off that distance. And then the critical factor is that there's a lot of corners who can run fast, but not all of them have the composure to then go from full speed to turn around and try to locate the ball in air where you've got like having studied football for so long, it still is impressive to me when corners can do this, because he's got no idea where the ball is, but he's able to has the hand-eye coordination to get the pass break up there. So 2 really great reps from Marcus Harris.
Yeah, they desperately need a development.
Yeah,
at corner, just whatever that is, whether it's Snead back and fully healthy, which would help, of course. They need someone, and I know we had some, Gabe Judy Lally looked at last week. I think he's probably on the team at this point. I don't know. Maybe we'll see if there's anything that happens against the Vikings tonight. But I think that there's they need something to happen, and if that's Harris kind of quickly developing, because remember at the beginning of camp, Jamari Harris, which was the undrafted free agent out of Iowa, was ahead of him, getting higher reps in the pecking order. That flipped quickly because Marcus Harris has gained ground in this department pretty fast, and I just think he's a very kind of I don't know, stoic's not the right word, calm, just composed. He just feels like a mature individual personality-wise, and I think you see that in his game as well. So there you go. All right, so we do appreciate you guys for hanging out, of course. ML Rose, you got 7 great locations. Make sure you order some wings on Saturdays, and make sure you attach your favorite SEC team whenever you order wings at ML Rose. We're competing all season long on Saturdays. Drink specials, 2-for-1s. You got 2-for-1 Bloody Marys, mimosas, beers, I think 10 a.m. all the way up through the first window of games, and then the same thing on Sunday. Got a brunch menu. All kinds of great food, all kinds of great drinks at ML Rose. Great wings, great dipping sauces, all the things you need. Great hang. And the one in East Nashville, by the way, the one in Inglewood has like an AstroTurf in the back. Big screens, big fans. It's covered all seasons, all weather. So like the kids can go out there and play while you sit and drink some beer and watch football. It's great. It's great. So go check it out. James, where can everybody find you and get to all your work?
Yeah, Twitter at NoFlagsFilm and YouTube at James Foster. Just wrote an article for Wide Left where I evaluated the accuracy of Feldman's freaks list and split it up by school, by drill. It's really interesting, so would suggest checking that out.
So you're just telling everybody how wrong Bruce Feldman is about his freaks.
Anything from Georgia you can trust. Michigan, not so much.
Well, we'll see. Jalen Harrell? Question mark?
Yeah.
No, it's I love Bruce. I've known Bruce a long time. So, all right. Well, make sure you check him out. Twitter, YouTube page as well. And again, we're gonna have some more stuff planned for you guys. Gonna have some other hosts, some other names are gonna show up, and we'll have sort of the schedule finalized for all of you when we get to the first week of the regular season coming up in a couple of weeks. So just bear with us. James, always good to see you, my guy. Always a pleasure. At Braden Gall, of course, thumbs up, notifications turned on YouTube, 5 stars on the podcast app of choice. If you do not give us 5 stars, you are a hater. All right, everybody, enjoy the game tonight and enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you later. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll talk to you next time.